recall that these moments are sacred. The good and loving spirit doctors have prepared an environment for a very deep and serious treatment, not only of us, but of our networks. We raise our thoughts to God. Dear Mother, Father God, in the seriousness of life, the reverence that it demands, we unite ourselves here, opening ourselves even more to the ways and means in which you want to treat us. This morning we are no longer going to write petitions about our needs, but as good and diligent patients of yours, in need of healing, we are open to your recommendations. Do not allow us to undergo further sufferings. Help us to open our vision and understand that we have no time any longer to play with life, that this reincarnation is precious. And we have asked to sacrifice all the facets of our ego to truly co-create with you in harmony, in joy, in your blessings. And we think of the millions and billions of people in both realms of life who do not have an opportunity of refreshing and renewing themselves in spiritual nourishment because they were not given an opportunity to know that spiritual nourishment is vital for our lives. Today, surrounded by loving and kind spirit doctors, nurses, therapists, and also the team of spirit security that protects and guides us, we wish that the loving vibrations of healing be magnified and reach all of their hearts. May we stay under your guidance, feeling your protection as you grant us permission to begin this spiritual treatment, and so be it. All right, friends. As we prepare ourselves for the spiritual treatment, the message this morning comes from this book, Action and Reaction. I'm not so sure if we have the book here, but if we don't have it here, you can buy it on the internet at Amazon.com, or if you want it in Portuguese and Spanish, they also exist in PDF format if you Google it. But this book was psychographed by André Luiz, the spirit doctor of the book No Solar. Through Chico Xavier, he told us about things that happen in life. But why do the higher spirits come from the higher spheres to tell us these stories? And they're not coming to tell the stories of the angels. To say, oh, that's how we live here. No, no. Why don't they tell us this? Because that's not how we're going to change ourselves. We will improve ourselves if we understand how to live here. Many people think that Spiritism teaches us how to live in the afterlife, but that's not true. It's showing us the afterlife as a consequence of this life. And this life is not real. What do you mean? Not real? Oh my gosh. That's great. So my pain is not real. No. What is not real? It means that this is passing. This personality in this body, as blessed as it is not us. We're much more than this. You're much more than the name you have, than the body you have. And if you think this is an asset, I agree, it's an asset. Spiritism says it's an asset. But not an asset to incite sexual thoughts in others. No, that's a mistake. It's not an asset, the things that we have, temporarily, because we are better than others. No, these are tools to evolve. And they come to tell us, if I use it right, this is the consequence. If I don't, this is the consequence. So they are just showing to us, as the Spiritist science, like experiments. If we go this way, this is where we're going to end up. If we go that way, this is where we're going to end up. And this book, in each chapter, we're going to see a different story. Women who got pregnant, they didn't want the children. Miscarriage happened. What was in the behind the scenes? What happened next? People who abused their beauty, and then in the other life, they are reborn in a specific way, etc., etc., etc. But this book begins with a fascinating story, which is a story of a family. And I'm going to browse through a few elements here, not to overwhelm us, but just to bring us the story that happens probably every day. And whenever we read these books, we think it's too much. But then when you enter a psychotherapist's office, you know that this is a breeze compared to what is happening on the behind the scenes of people's lives. The spirits were merciful to show just a little bit of the much that happens on the behind the scenes. In this book, we're going to see, hold on a second. Okay. It shows to us that there is a place in the spiritual realm where spirits are rescued after they discarnate. They are rescued from certain lower zones and brought to the spiritual realm. And this may be our next step if we merit it. Because sometimes we're like, what happens after death? And it may happen at any time. Mansion of Peace. Mansion of Peace is like a monastery. It's connected to the spiritual colony that we know of as Nosso Lar. And it's located in the lower zone, but it's as a rescue unit. And it was founded more than 3 centuries ago, but this book was written in 1957. So 3 centuries before the book was written is when the colony was formed. The planet is forming its spiritual colonies. It's forming the rescue units according to our evolution. Okay? And what happens on the earth is a mirror image, rough mirror image, like very blurry of what is in the spiritual realm. If something comes up here, it's because it happens first in the spiritual realm. So that's why when we have a beautiful idea, it doesn't come from us. It comes from the higher spheres. So that's why people are like, oh my gosh, I have a great idea, what do I do? Nothing, you just make it happen, because if you withhold it, you're withholding the good that came from above. So we have to make it happen. So they are rescued, they shelter the spirits, the discarnated spirits. When we discarnate, physical body dies, who have decided to work on their regeneration. Those are the people who say, I repent. So the first question for us today, do I repent my mistakes? And I'm not a priest. I'm not asking you to punish yourself or go home. No. But we're asking ourselves, do I recognize the things that I did wrong? Why is it important? Because I cannot change something if I do not recognize that it's wrong. And that doesn't mean you're going to fall into a guilt trip. First step, I repent. I say, I made a mistake. That was not right. What do I do next? I say, I want to fix it. But you cannot fix if you don't confess to yourself, to God, and to the needed parties. I'll give an example. Saul of Tarsus. Saul of Tarsus, he didn't immediately tell everybody. Because when he entered the Christian communities, he couldn't tell immediately, I am. Some people didn't recognize him. He kept quiet, but there was a moment he said, it was me. It couldn't be any different. He wouldn't be able to become Paul of Tarsus if he didn't have the courage to take that step. That's what we call integrity. And that's okay. The next step, he amended himself. He had the courage, the integrity to amend himself before his own consciousness. And he became even beyond the ones who didn't make his mistakes. He did even more. And that's the beauty of this message. It doesn't matter what we've done. It matters what we want to do. But Vanessa, I killed somebody. Okay, God knows it. And God is still giving you your daily bread. So God is telling you, begin anew. But what do I do? Don't do it anymore. But what else? Well, help God, helping others. If you took people's lives, give them life. By punishing and suffering, we are not going to amend anything. Some people say, but I'm suffering so much, I'm already paying for it. No, you're not. You pay when you give something. Look at your bills. You don't pay anything when you're suffering when you look at the invoice. Oh my gosh, I'm already paying for the bill. I'm not paying for any bill. The suffering, oh my gosh, I have to pay so many. I'm paying for it. No, we're not. We pay when we give the money to those who need the bills to be paid. So suffering does not help. But Vanessa, we suffer because we don't understand. Because the day we understand, we stop suffering. Suffering is consequence of perception. When we study pain in the body, we understand that the higher areas of our brain are able to change the way we perceive that input in the body. As a neuroscientist, I've studied it myself. With drugs, you can change the way you can have an inflammation, take an anti-inflammatory dose of Advil, and the inflammation is still there, but you're not feeling it. Why? Because there is a mechanism that was shifted inside of your brain, and the perception was changed. So you don't perceive the noxious stimulus that is still there, but is not being received by your consciousness. So I may still feel that person punching me, emotionally speaking. But then I create a mechanism, my emotional and spiritual Advil, in which I am able not to perceive this as noxious. Jesus did that. For him, the behavior of all of us at the time, Judas and Peter, for us, we would go crazy. Like, I'm done. It's not possible. Right? Judas is going to do what he's going to do. Peter's going to deny after all we've done together. But for Jesus, he had a different perception. And that's what Spiritism does. He gives us a future view of the consequences of today's decisions. I want my future to be better, I need to change today. If I do the same things, life is not going to change magically. I need to change today. So these spirits, they said, I want to change. I want to improve. I want to learn the new. Because to feel better, I need to learn the new. And that's what they did. So once they are there, they had a mentor named Druso that helped all of them. And there is a family in particular that they were helping, the family of this man, Antonio Olimpio. Okay? This man, when he was incarnated, he had two brothers, and they had a farm. The father died, and they were supposed to share the inheritance. He said, you know, I think this farm would be best if it were only mine. He simulated an accident and killed his two brothers, drowning in a lake. He was married. He had a little boy. And what happened next after this? Sorry, Daisy. I want to behave here. I want to regenerate myself from moving around. So he was there. The brothers died. And we think, sometimes don't we wish that people die? It's true. I wish that person disappeared. Please don't wish them dead, because then they're going to be more present in your life than you imagine. Because they will be freer. Wish that they are more physically present, because you can run away vibratorily. But when they are spiritually free from the flesh, they can be in our house everywhere we go, all the time. Pray for the enemies. Don't wish them dead, because nobody dies. What happened? Antonio Olimpo didn't know. The brothers were so upset that they became Antonio Olimpio's worst enemies. They did everything for Antonio Olimpio to also go crazy and die, so they could keep him hostage in the spiritual realm. They succeeded. Was it enough? No. They were so furious that the next person they made disappear. The wife disappeared. They created a form of obsession by talking bad thoughts in her mind, and she drowned in the lake. She felt depressed, and then one day, in a moment of unawareness, she died. Was it enough? No. Meanwhile, all those years, the boy grew up, became an adult, got married, had children. He inherited everything. And the uncles are like, oh, no. Nobody from this family is going to keep anything from us. They started avenging the nephew. How many people in our family suffer as consequences of our actions? Not because they say, I want to suffer for somebody. No. Because they are part of the family of those who made decisions. In the Bible, there are texts showing to us that sometimes what you do will happen generations to come. And now Spiritism explains why. And they created such a plot that it shows to us, and I'll show you a picture. I'll skip a few pictures here to go straight to the case of the boy who became a man, the son, Louis. Now he's obsessed by the uncles, Lionel and Clarindo. Forgive the many names, just as the book says. And they obsess. How do the spirits obsess? That's what we're going to discuss today. Because we want to heal, but we need to know the strategies. And André Luiz, it unfolds to us the strategies of the darkness. Lionel and Clarindo, were they criminals on the earth? They became criminals in the afterlife. And we have that inside of us if we don't watch out. Because sometimes people don't give the smile that we want and we are hurt. We go home like, oh my gosh, that person didn't even say good morning to me. Didn't even say this, and we keep thinking bad about them for a whole week because they didn't say hi. I know people who go to the university and they're so sensitive because they see the professors are not babysitting them. They're like, oh my gosh, those professors are so tough. They come and they are so impersonal. I'm like, come on. Less sensitive. That's what Emmanuel said to Chico. Chico, if you want to survive the world, tough skin, huh? Crocodile skin, he said. Because people are going to pinch and pinch and pinch. Tough it up. That's what Emmanuel said to Chico. Tough it up. But not in the heart, huh? In the skin, he said. Because Chico kept a soft heart. He kept loving. He kept being kind, but tough outside. Because people would abuse. Even when he was sick, they would jump the walls of the house to invade the house to see him. Chico, I'm desperate, but Chico was sick. Tough skin. For all of us, tough skin. Clarindo and Leonel, the uncles, became the unimagined avengers of the family. And their strategy worked because Louis is an angel? No. Because Louis had a weakness. How did this uncle succeed in obsessing the nephew? There is a weak point. In Louis' case, he was too attached to material things. Are we too attached to material things? We think we are not. Then you take a log, go home. Log your whole day. How many times you think of money and bill and promotions and income and making more money and dreams of traveling more, and we're going to see how attached we are to material things. I want a bigger house, a better car, an easier life, more comfort. And then when we leave those doors, we go to the world, we think we're so right. Everybody does that. That's what Louis thought. The farm was there. He had the money that he needed. He would sit, André Louis said, and he would think the whole day, the whole meal, about the problems in the politics. He would think about the economic issues of his life or of the country, like majority of people do. When we have a little time to sit, we do not enjoy life at its depth. We keep talking about the passing things in life. Is that bad? Yes, it's about vibration. And it shows to us that there were 300 spirits connected to Louis to keep him vibrating as low as possible, which is as low as majority of the thoughts of people on earth. Pause. Manuel Filomeno de Miranda, a spirit who knows a lot about obsession, wrote several books through Divaldo Franco. One of them is not in English yet, named Trilhas da Libertação. It's like maybe Trails to Freedom, Liberation, maybe, I don't know. Thank you. But I have here the text in which he talks about the strategies of evil that happen in the afterlife. Just to give you how much these books from this spirit match André Louis, I'll give you one more information here. Okay. This one. Sorry. Okay, this. André Louis in the book Action and Reaction tells us that there are schools of Avengers in the spiritual realm. Escola de Vingadores. As much as there are criminals in the physical realm, there are, I'll state this way so you don't need to go back and forth. So, as much as there are gangs in the material realm, mobs and mobsters, drug dealers, that's what they do daily. They wake up thinking about their deals. In the spiritual realm, in the lower zones, we have what André Louis called schools of Avengers. Pause. Remember at the beginning we said the higher spirits come to tell us about how they are behaving in the higher spheres? No. They talk about how much they are helping us here, because that's what they do. The angels do not stay there put. They say, you know, if I need to tell you about us, that's what we do. We help you guys. Because look at the mess you put yourselves in. What for? Because of more money Oh, but Vanessa, who doesn't want more money? But at what price? By lying, seducing, betraying, cheating, trading in values that are everlasting for passing things. And the school of Avengers exists. André Luiz tells us that there are people who gather together to plan on how to put us down. That they have nothing else to do. When you wake up, you have something to do great, because there are spirits that when they are in their 24-hour, that's all they do. If they rest in the spiritual realm, when they open their eyes, their plan is just, how am I going to destroy somebody? Who is saying this? Vanessa? No, I don't know. They know, the good spirits. We see in the mediumistic meetings. They have nothing else to do but to observe us daily and log every thought, every feeling, every word, and every action. And they know precisely our weaknesses. In this book, Trilhas da Libertação, Manuel Filomeno de Miranda tells us that there are 4 weak points. First one, and this is in the very school of Avengers. Manuel Filomeno de Miranda gives another name, but it's the same thing. They say they are teaching the other obsessors. They're saying, first of all, we know people like to feel pleasure. So the first thing they push, the button of sex. And they explain why. Because humans are sexual. They like to feel pleasure. So it's easy to disturb their inner forces. So that's the first button that they push. The energies of sex impregnate in the people they have sex with. André Luiz also shows it. When we seduce, we create a web, like Spider-Man. We send a web, we connect. And André Luiz shows, during the night, you're not able to go to the higher spheres and learn anything new. You stay stuck with the people you seduced because you send a web. So we need to teach our children. Be careful. Poor Marilyn Monroe. We know through Chico Xavier, Humberto de Campos came in an interview with her saying how she suffered because of her sensuality. Oh, but I want to be the most adored woman in the world. Not in this way. You better be Mother Teresa. You can be beautiful, but don't use beauty that way. And they say the second mechanism to make that person fall in the traps of their ego is narcissism. Narcissism is the child of selfishness and the father of pride, vanity that are in the human being. I'm trying to get the word here. To make, it's like a fascination. They say, they use the word fascination. Fascination is a form of obsession. The person is blind. They think they are better than they are. They think they are prettier than they are. They think they are more powerful than they are. And we see daily in the government, in the world, not only the United States. It's an illusion of the mind. Pride It's like a drug to the feelings, and it intoxicates the individual, blinding the person, making the person go mad. No wonder we're going to see narcissists entering the realm of mentally ill people. It's already a category in psychiatry, depending on the level of narcissism. Third one, power. Power at home. We parents have power over our children. Our children have power over us too. Different types of power. And sometimes we don't know how to use this power. We abuse it. They abuse it. We abuse it. But we are adults. We should learn better. But power is one of the mechanisms through which the spirits find a way to create a problem in our lives. Power comes, they say that it's going to incite our most aggressive instincts. And if we see the political scenario in the world nowadays, we're seeing precisely that picture of how much power and violence can be so interconnected. And fourth, money. Money buys lives and enslaves souls. I'm going to repeat this. These are the spirits of darkness, words. They are teaching the other, saying, money buys lives, and it does. Because I've seen people cutting short their hours in a spiritist community because they were promoted and they are working harder at work. It buys lives and enslaves souls. And I've seen this is a common strategy of the spirits. They try through your family. They try through your health. They try through your relationships. They can't make it. They go to the core of your life. Money is important for you. They go there. And I'm going to talk about the very topic that Mentor Joseph wants us to talk about all the time, parenting. Money is enslaving parents, buying their lives, and they have less time with their children. And they think, oh, but they're little, but that's when they need us the most. Later, they won't need us as much. And then we're seeing motherless, fatherless children. And they write to us like, my child is ADHD. No wonder. They're going crazy because they don't have security. Who wouldn't? They are aggressive, of course. They don't have your love. They have nobody's love. You think their teachers love them? We don't. You think their babysitters love them? I talk to babysitters every day. They try their best, but they don't love their children. Oh, but I love my children. Because you're paid. I want to see if you would do it without the money. Oh, but I need the money. I know. But would you love without the money? A mother would. A good mother. And a good father. Ambition of richness, even if masked, overcomes false humility. Comfort changes the character and discourages people from sacrifices. I know people who would stay the whole night in a bar, in a party, traveling, but to be in a volunteering community, they would count the hours. They would watch the clock all the time. Oh, it's already 9:30. They leave. But if they were in a party, they would be until midnight, 1, 2, 3 a.m. And we want God to help us. But we don't want to help others. We don't want to sacrifice. That's what they're saying. If we were paid, we would work overnight. But we're not paid. I'm not going to stay here like Chico Xavier until 5 a.m. talking to people who are sick. They say to their obsessors, we know that Christianity started to die because people no longer want to sacrifice themselves. Money bought things, people, and the kingdom of heaven. And this is the last part of this topic that we're discussing in the car coming here. Even in the Spiritist movement, we have people writing Spiritist books and make money for their own lives. They don't have a job anymore. They write the books and they survive of the books. There are people who are selling Spiritist talks in the internet, claiming that the money is going to go for greater projects. We understand, but you don't sell things that are not yours. These teachings are not ours. It's wrong. And we're talking about big names. And it's wrong. And the forces of darkness are already saying this, exactly what we're saying. One thing is to sell a DVD and a book because there is paper, money involved. It's a symbolic. $20 for a book. Another is to sell a talk. So the spirits in the school of Avengers, to wrap up, okay? Because this is food for thought. If we want to heal, we need to know that the strategies come from these Avengers, organizations maintained by criminal intelligences temporarily hiding out in the lower zones. One day, they're going to be rescued. Like in the book Liberation by Andrea Lewis, it shows to us how the mobster of the beyond is rescued. And at the end of the day, they were hurt and wounded souls, so we pray for them. God knows if we did that once before we reincarnated. We don't know. If we were an Avenger once, what we know is that they exist. They are hurt, like the uncles of Lewis. They are hurt, and all they think, and they connect to other Avengers who say, oh, you want to avenge your family? I'm going to help you, but you help with mine, okay? They team up. And where do they tease us? Andrea Lewis shares with us that the dynamics of their obsession is here. We all possess a central desire or a basic theme in our innermost interests. I know somebody who didn't have a green card for 20 years. And she said, she used to be inside of a Spiritist center, every meeting, everything, she would be there. Oh, my green card doesn't come. The day the green card came, where is she? She got a job. She's working hard. The Spiritist Center is just a church I attend. I go there and attend whenever I can, but not committed anymore. The central theme. We didn't want to be healed or to help. We're using the spiritual things as a crutch. And when we didn't need it any longer, I use sacred things. And the spirits are saying, what is our central desire? Deep inside. Sometimes it happens for reincarnations. And in this life, God is saying, I'm not going to give you more land. I'm not going to give you more money than you need in your life. Man, I work so hard and people have what I don't. And I remember a case of somebody coming to Divaldo Franco year after year and saying, Divaldo, I study hard, I work hard, and how come that person is already a professor at university? How come that person is already a big scientist? And look at me. And Divaldo said, God knows best. Because you think you would do better, but you're probably going to repeat the same mistakes with that much power and influence, etc. So hold your horses, my friend. Does that mean we're not going to work? No. It means we're going to change that desire. But I want more land. What for? To oppress? The secret of having money in a healthy way, you know what it is? Not to feel changed because you have money. When I don't feel superior to others, even though I have money. When I don't feel superior to others, even though I am beautiful, physically. When I don't feel superior to others, even though I have titles. When I don't feel superior to others, even though I have health, because I know people. I know a family of a few brothers and sisters. There was a sister who used to be sick all the time. And the brothers would bully her, saying, you get sick all the time. They thought they were more because they were not sick. Little things. Parents will think they are more than children because children are still dependent on them. They don't know exactly how even to coordinate their motor movements, and they laugh at children. And then when they become older, they expect that their children are going to be compassionate to them. But they were not compassionate to their children. They didn't like changing the diapers of the little kids. And they're cute. When we're older, we don't look that cute when somebody has to change our diapers. And that day may come. No, but I don't want to age. I want to die. Well, maybe the lesson will be you age, so you learn to be humble. How are we going to learn humility if we're not humbled by life? I know it's a tough conversation. I asked the mentor, I said, mentors, can we say something softer today? And they said, no. We need to be aware that we have a central desire, a basic theme. We need to know what it is. Life after life, we are after the same thing. If we don't sublimate it, if we don't make it be an angelic and immortal goal, we will be easy praise in the hands of the obsessors. Easy. Because we're vibrating low, like Lewis. And Lewis was doing just like everybody else, taking care of the daily issues, worrying about politics and material things. And they're showing to us that those things are not good for us, that we should aim higher every day, every day, every day. And they add a little more here, one more thing. These avengers, the obsessors, create mental fixations through hypnosis called technical illusions. How do they do it? André Luiz discloses to us. They come to us daily and they say, come on, don't be stupid. If you don't do it, somebody else will. Don't listen to these stupid things that they are saying in the center, because they're not going to pay your bills. So I'm delivering to you how they say it. So if you listen to it, if I listen to it, I already know the mentors say it. See, who cares? And then, like Divaldo Franco's brother, remember when we were in Colombia, in a spiritist event, he was sitting next to me and he said, Vanessa, I'm going to tell you the story of my older brother. Unlike Divaldo, he didn't want anything to do with religiousness. He was Catholic, going to church every now and then. But he was very attached to material things. He became very wealthy. He was a farmer. Never gave anything to the Mission of the Way, believe it or not. Not even a pound of coffee from his farm. And it's very common that we do these works and our families don't join us. And one day, death comes. Who did he call? Divaldo. No, Divaldo said more. Whenever he would travel for spiritist talks, he would write a postcard to the family members saying, this is where I am, as a kind note saying, I'm thinking of you. When this brother received it, instead of rejoicing, he would say, he's showing off. When he got to know that the brother felt that way, he stopped doing this. Oh, he doesn't care about me anymore. Mm-hmm. Isn't that common? So common, right? If you do it, you're blamed for it. If you don't, you're still. So, one day, he was at deathbed, he called Divaldo. And Divaldo said, Vanessa. And Divaldo said these things with kindness and love. He didn't say this bad-mouthing the brother. He shared as a way to teach to us that when it happens to us, it happens to him and anybody else. Happened to Chico. So the brother is there and he says, Vanessa, I saw desperation in his eyes. He was like, Divaldo, please. I know you can do something. Do something because I know death is approaching. And Divaldo said, there's nothing we can do now. Too late. When do we do it? When we retire, it may never come. We have to do the good today. We need to change our central desires today. You no longer dream of a new house. Please don't. That's not a dream. That's a thing to do. We do it. We don't dream of it. We dream of being a better person, of having less suffering in the world, of helping people who are struggling more than we are. And they may be somebody now under our roof who needs a hug, and we don't give them a hug, they kill themselves. Are we sustaining the comfort zone of our family members? Because if our life is not bothering theirs, it's a sign we're not doing the right. Who said it? Jesus. I have not come to bring peace. It's controversial. Yes, he said, I came to bring peace, but at times he said I didn't. He meant, when you do the right, people who want to stay in the comfort zone in your life, they will be bothered by it. Like, can we do this today? No, I have to help somebody else. But don't we have time for ourselves anymore? But why do we need time for ourselves if you can come with me? Oh, you can't come, so you stay. Oh, then I don't. It's either this or me. Okay, so it's the good. Congratulations. We no longer are going to prefer the passing things. And we need to help people wake up. Who says it's Emmanuel? We need to shed light in the world of consciousness, starting from ours. And observe that the spirits come to whisper, time and again, the same things. And there are people now with the selfies. I saw recently in a trip that we made, people who were physically out of shape. And they were taking selfies as if they were top models. Mental fixation. They can't see themselves as they are. The spirits enslave them in a self-image that is an illusion. So they don't take care of themselves. They say, you're good. So they don't change their diet. They don't do exercise. They don't take care of their primary instrument in this life, the physical body. One thing we need to teach our children is, first thing you do, you take good care of your body. Watch what you think, what you feel, and what you eat, and what you do. But these spirits, they say, no, you're good. And now with the self, it's easier to do these mental fixations. Look how good you are. And you keep like it. It's mental illness, says psychiatry. I'll never forget one day somebody coming and saying, I don't know, I have a problem in my life. Why? Because whenever I travel, I post all my days of my trip. I saw a couple going to their honeymoon for 21 days, and they would, everything they would do, they would post their pictures. Like, whose honeymoon is this? Because if you have time to take pictures, who is enjoying the honeymoon? And psychology already explains, when you're taking too many pictures, you are not enjoying life. And now the disease comes to the spiritist movement. When in the middle of our events, people stop to pose. At the end, it's valid. Oh, we're done. We did great. A memory of all of us. Another is, in the middle of everything, stop to pose. We're doing a seminar and we pose. We're doing an activity and everybody poses. But what for? What is the good that that is going to do to the world? Vanity. Narcissism. Vanity is in the category connected to narcissism, as Manuel Filomeno de Miranda said. Strategies that makes us feel fascinated. And when I see the vain applause of the world thinking that I'm great. But when I'm really doing the great, not everybody's applauding us. We get on people's nerves. Because they want to sleep and we want to stay awake. They want the quiet of their noisy minds, and we want the noise of our quiet minds. So that's the message today. The spirits want to help us. They are prepared. They already know what we need. They already know. But they are asking us, please identify your central desire and fix it. Sublimate it. Pump it up. Bring it to another level so we can keep helping. They are telling to all of us, including me. Including the discarnate spirits who are here. Okay, friends. If you have a question, we'll be able to answer at the end. Now we're going to turn off everything just to keep the dim lights. And We'll be calling you to come one by one to the back because we have a semicircle of current where people are holding the current, and we are going to deliver the spiritual treatment that you need, and the spirits know what is best. When you sit at a chair, it's important that you just surrender yourself to God and say, God, I trust that you're bringing to my life and the life of my loved ones what you find most appropriate. It's not on me to say, but I trust in you. You surrender, and everything else just unfolds. And at the end, we'll give a little cup of water. It's spring water, as you can see in the bottles, but the spirits put remedies in this water to add to our spiritual vitality. It's energy medicine. It's spiritual medicine. Okay? Thank you, Daisy.